It was late in the evening when the tall glass doors of the corporate building gleamed under the city lights, and inside, the echo of laughter and conversation filled the grand lobby. Tonight was a celebration, a company anniversary where the wealthiest executives and sharpest professionals gathered, dressed in expensive suits and glittering gowns. Music flowed from the speakers, champagne glasses clinked, and the piano in the corner sat untouched, gleaming under the soft lights, more decoration than instrument. And standing at the edge of that dazzling world was a man no one noticed at first, a janitor in a faded uniform, holding a mop and bucket, his hands calloused, his back slightly bent from years of hard labor. His name was Daniel, a single father who had quietly cleaned the floors of this building night after night, never once drawing attention to himself. But tonight, as a group of executives whispered among themselves, a mischievous idea sparked. They pointed at him chuckling and decided to make a joke out of the man who barely earned their glances. One of them called out, asking Daniel if he would play the piano for the crowd, expecting only clumsy notes and awkward embarrassment. What no one knew, not even Daniel himself in that trembling moment, was that what he was about to play would silence the room, soften the coldest hearts, and even draw tears from the eyes of the CEO himself. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of hidden gifts, then please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Moonlight Stories so that we can continue bringing you moving tales like this one. Daniel had never been the type to seek the spotlight, and as the laughter rolled toward him, he wanted to refuse, to shake his head and return to his mop. But something stirred inside of him, a memory of nights long ago before life had broken him down, when he would sit at a worn-out piano in his mother's small living room, teaching himself notes from old sheet music she had saved. His mother had always believed he was gifted, but poverty had pulled him away from that world, and after her death, music became a ghost he never dared to touch again. Yet now, with mocking eyes upon him, something in his chest ached to prove that he was more than the uniform he wore. Slowly, nervously, he sat at the piano bench, his rough fingers hovering above the keys. At first, the executives laughed, expecting a disaster, but the moment Daniel's hands pressed down, the room fell quiet. The sound that poured out was not broken or unsure, but strong, full of feeling, carrying years of pain and love and longing within it. Every note seemed to tell his story, of nights spent alone raising a daughter after his wife left, of exhaustion and sacrifice, of dreams buried beneath hardship, yet still burning faintly in the dark. The room stilled as the music built, swelling into a melody so hauntingly beautiful that it seemed to fill every corner of the hall. The waiters stopped in their tracks, the conversations faded, and even those who had laughed the loudest now stared with wide eyes, unable to believe what they were hearing. The CEO himself, a stern man known for his cold demeanor, leaned forward in his seat, his expression softening as the music reached into a place he thought long closed. Daniel's daughter, a bright little girl of 9 years old who sometimes waited for her father in the lobby while he finished his shift, stood by the door with tears in her eyes, watching her father transformed from an invisible janitor into something radiant, something untouchable. For her, it was a moment of pride she would never forget. But behind the beauty of the performance was Daniel's reality, the crushing bills, the nights of skipped meals so his daughter could eat, the constant judgment from people who looked past him as if he were nothing more than a shadow. Each key he pressed was weighted with those struggles, but also with defiance, with the quiet strength of a man who refused to be broken. The music rose higher, aching yet hopeful, and in those few minutes he poured out everything he had ever kept locked inside. When the final note trembled into silence, there was no laughter left in the room. Only stunned faces, glistening eyes, and a silence so deep it seemed almost sacred. And then slowly applause began, soft at first, then rising until the entire hall was on its feet, clapping not for a janitor but for an artist, a man who had given them something money could never buy. Daniel lowered his head, overwhelmed, unsure if what had just happened was real. But then the CEO himself rose from his seat, walking across the polished floor to where Daniel sat. With a hand that had once only signed million-dollar deals, the CEO reached out and shook Daniel's calloused fingers, his voice breaking as he thanked him for reminding everyone in the room of what true beauty sounded like. Offers poured in afterward, lessons for his daughter, a chance to play again, even whispers of opportunities that Daniel had once only dreamed of. But none of that mattered as much as the look on his daughter's face, the way she hugged him tightly and whispered that she was proud, that he was her hero. Life didn't change overnight, but something inside Daniel did. He walked back to his work with his head higher, not because he had been applauded, but because he had rediscovered a part of himself he thought he had lost forever. From then on, the piano was no longer silent. Some nights when his shift was done, he would play quietly in the empty lobby, his daughter sitting nearby with her homework, and even the guards would stop to listen, smiling at the sound of hope drifting through the halls of a place built on steel and glass. Daniel remained humble, still cleaning floors, still facing the grind of survival. But now he carried music with him again, and through it, he gave his daughter a gift greater than wealth, the knowledge that no matter how invisible the world tries to make you, your worth is never gone. If this story touched your heart, please support Moonlight Stories by liking this video, sharing it with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribing so you never miss another powerful tale. And before we end, we have a special request for you. Drop a comment below telling us what hidden talent or forgotten dream you wish the world could see from you.